Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Elevenses, brought to you by Google Partners. And this is the third episode in the four-part series. And today we'll be discussing AdWords automation and how it can be helping maximising your efficiencies and saving you time. So my name is Tom Gillespie, and I'm an account strategist within the UKI High Touch team.
My name is Izzy. I'm an account strategist on the UK agency team.
So last week, Kelsey and Adam talked to you about attribution and the benefits that it's providing. And it's important to remember that this entire series is not in isolation, but how they're complementing each other. So we want to be looking at automation as kind of the final piece of the puzzle to be getting the most out of your AdWords account and the benefits for yourself and your clients.
So our agenda today is a quick look at why automation is important for you and for your clients, as Tom said. And then we're going to go through how to get you started, what you should be looking for, and then some next steps once you're ready. So to kick off with why it's important, we conducted some research last year when you told us that automation was a point of contention for you. You weren't sure of the benefits yourself, and you weren't sure how to communicate that to your clients. So today we'll be taking you through some of those benefits and hopefully helping you to have that conversation by reframing how we all think about automation and programmatic. So we know from speaking to you on the phone and in person that bidding takes up an enormous amount of your time, and it's disproportionate when you consider all the other more valuable services you can provide, such as creative consultation, for example. So the main benefit of automation for you as an agency is that it makes bidding more efficient. So it frees up some time to do exactly those more creative things. The second benefit would probably be for both you and your clients is that it allows you to work smarter, so make smarter decisions based on up to 70 million signals at every auction. We'll dive more into those signals and what they look like in a moment. But the final point is this working smarter and working faster helps you to manage your clients more effectively and manage more of them so you can grow and they can grow at a faster pace. So let's go through those concepts now in more detail, starting with working faster. So what you're being asked to manage when you manually bid has dramatically changed in the last 5 years. It used to just be matching a bid to a keyword, but all of that has changed due to changing technology and changing consumer behaviors. So it now looks a little bit more like this. So if you were an online retailer 5 years ago, your customers used to be on a desktop at home or maybe at work, but now there are multiple devices in any location at any time of day. We also know more about them as marketers, so we know if they've been to your site before, we know what their interests are, and we know how likely they might be to convert for you. So managing this, manually bidding, can lead to a lot of frustration and a lot of time spent. So that leads to essentially your day now looking like the diagram on the left. So your workflow spends an enormous amount of time trying to work this out manually. What we want to help you do is get to the diagram on tomorrow's workflow breakdown. So you have more time to do the parts of your job that add value to your clients and position you as a strategic partner in the space. So that's working faster. Working smarter with automated bidding is that smart bidding basically evaluates all those data signals we just covered proactively in every single auction, and it then bids according to those signals. So it bids up or down depending on the likelihood to convert, who they are, what they're looking for. That leads to basically unparalleled optimization, and the third benefit we mentioned earlier, which is winning more. By using all this information, you can help your clients to win more of the relevant auctions, and it also allows you time to spend more time being a strategic partner with your clients, basically.
So now that we're able to recognise the value that automation is able to provide your agencies and your clients, it's then actually easier than you think to be kind of kicking things off with a smart bidding strategy and start seeing some of those benefits. So first things first, how do we go about identifying the right bidding strategies for your accounts? So it's important to remember and be asking ourselves, what is the goal of the campaign? And secondly, what is the current volume of clicks and conversions coming through that campaign? Because that plays a huge role in terms of making sure that we've got the right campaign for the right strategy and working towards that right goal, or even if we're eligible for it and going to get the most bang for our buck. So when looking at ourselves, when looking at the campaigns, we want to end the role that they're playing for the business. We want to be thinking that if the goal of the campaign is all about driving visibility or website clicks, that's when we would be recommending a target outranking share bidding strategy or maximize clicks. However, if we're focusing more towards conversions or sales or even revenue, that's when the smart bidding strategies come into their own. And we've got a few on the table that, depending on kind of the flavors that we're looking for, that's going to be what we'd be looking to implement. So we already know that AdWords has a variety of bidding strategies available to us. Now, the four main solutions that optimize towards conversions range from easy to set up and then the ROI that they can generate. So we have on your left-hand side, kind of the traditional manual bidding, which is the kind of the most homework involved and most time intensive, and that's when we can, in Izzy's earlier slide today, where the blowing out of that middle kind of part of your day, just looking after bids and budget. Now, moving from left to right, this is when we're going to be like what factors we're considering for the right strategy, and then like why is it of a value to us and why we should be using. So kicking things off, we've got enhanced cost per click. Now, benefits of this is in terms of that it's no learning period required, and also allows you to remain in control of the base bids while still bidding, while still benefiting from bidding automation. And it eliminates the need for all bid adjustments except for your device bid adjustments. Now, when would be recommending using enhanced cost per click? We'd want to be recommending that if you're wishing to drive more conversions and maintain control over your keywords and bids and device bid adjustments. And also, you'd want to be having at least, like, you might have campaigns that are on the lower end of the spectrum of conversion volume. So if we're looking at anywhere between kind of like 15 to 30 conversions, that's when you would be recommending ECPC. And finally, a perfect scenario of when you can be leveraging smart bidding is if you're using a third-party bidding tool, because the enhanced cost per click is able to complement, not compete against these tools. So we're getting the best of both worlds. Moving along to maximize conversions. Now, this is for when the goal of the campaign and you're looking to just drive more conversions within a current budget. So an example, a good kind of like indicators of when would maximize conversions be a good fit for you guys. Is your campaign limited by budget, and are you really kind of maxing out on that impression share? The next one would be looking towards, if you do have kind of low conversion volume coming through, similar to enhanced cost per click, between that 15 to 30 range, and you're working within very tight budgets. Now, the next one moving along is target CPA. Now, what target CPA is doing is that it's leveraging machine learning capabilities to set bids for each individual auction, and the algorithms are continually learning from user behavior to ensure the most highest bidding accuracy. It also eliminates the guesswork from bidding optimization, giving you more time to focus on strategic initiatives. So when's going to be the perfect time for you to be using target CPA? We want to be looking at, if you're looking to be driving incremental conversions at a very specific CPA goal. And the easiest way to be checking if your campaign is going to be a good fit for this is whether or not it's showing a positive simulation in the AdWords Opportunity Center. And last but not least, we have target return on ad spend, aka target ROAS. Now, this optimizes against conversion value to offer a revenue-focused bidding option that delivers the highest ROI. It also enables you to weight each individual conversion action based on the total value it provides for your business. So if your clients have given you very strict goals that we need to be working towards, so for every dollar we're putting into AdWords, we want to be seeing $4 back in return, then a target ROAS strategy is going to be your new best friend. Now, the circumstances that we would want to be recommending for target ROAS, we're thinking shopping campaigns, and we want to be ensuring that we've seen at least 100 conversions coming through a month. So just in terms of like an important reminder when considering the full range of smart bidding strategies is making sure that we've got a high level of conversion volume coming through the account. Sorry. We have a high level of volumes of conversion data coming through the account. So then this is to ensure that the learning period during those initial 2-week period of the campaign is as stable as possible. So simple rule, the higher the conversion volume coming through the account, the more stable that learning period is going to be.
Perfect. So now we know what you're kind of looking for in terms of volumes and your goals. You need to basically get started with your implementation. So the easiest way to implement in your account is by going to the AdWords Opportunity tab, which identifies automatically which campaigns are going to be a great fit for smart bidding and which strategy you should be using where. Where you don't have all of the campaigns featuring in the Opportunity tab, then you need to go back through the process Tom just took you through and decide where you're going to apply each one. There's a few things to keep in mind when you get to this implementation stage. So first of all, you need to carefully think about the targets that you set. So look at the data for the last 30 days and think about whether that's the target you want to be achieving and whether it's going to be likely that you can continue to achieve that. So don't set a target that's too high or too low, because that will limit the performance of your smart bidding. So second of all, once you've implemented, you need to limit the changes that you make to the campaigns with smart bidding during the learning period. Every change you make will reset the learning period and increase the volatility of that test. Third of all, avoid immediate analysis. So as we both mentioned, and we'll go into a little bit more detail in a moment, there is a learning period for the majority of these smart bidding strategies. So you'll need to take that into account when analysing the performance. And then fourth, be mindful of the seasonality trends. So to go back to our online retailer example that we used earlier, if you set up smart bidding in the run up to Christmas, that gives it an unrealistic expectation of what the rest of the year might look like. It will think it'll be raining conversions all year, when in fact, in reality, there's only a few times of year that looks like that. Conversely, if you've got a particularly slow month seasonally, the smart bidding strategy is going to think that your target CPA for the rest of the year that you've set is completely unattainable and it will really slow down results. Or if it does work, but you're still on low volume for that month, it can be a temptation for your clients to blame that smart bidding strategy for that low volume, even though you yourself know that you were expecting a slow or a low volume month. So just pick a month that is a fairly reasonable representation of the rest of your year.
So in terms of now that we're looking to implement a smart bidding strategy across the campaign, the most important thing is to remember is well, how long is the right amount of time before we start judging performance? And as Izzy mentioned earlier, it's very important that we don't run that analysis too early. And this has probably been often one of the more common reasons of when people have tried it in the past and they weren't too happy with the results was purely because they may have pulled the plug too early. So two factors that will impact how long we should be waiting before assessing the performance is first and foremost allowing that first 1 to 2 week period for the learning period. Now, this allows the algorithm to calibrate for a newly implemented bid strategy. And when we've looked at the campaign volumes that we've applied the bidding strategy to, if we've got a higher conversion volume coming through, then we'll expect that learning period to get through faster than expected. Now, the second thing to be allowing for is the time lag for conversions. And this is referring to that average period from when a customer is clicking on your ad to that converting path. So if that journey may take, we'd want to be making sure that if we are using a target CPA, a automated bidding strategy, we want to be making sure that our time lag would be preferably less than 7 days, just so then the algorithms are able to bid with the highest accuracy and in the freshest amount of data. So in terms of a now next later for leveraging a smart bidding strategy, the first step should be just reminding ourselves in the previous 2 episodes as well that we want to make sure that we've got all the right infrastructure in place. And that's whether that's referring to our audience strategy, our attribution, and also making sure that we've got all the right assets in place. And automations is going to be that final piece of the puzzle. Now, once you've then identified those campaigns, we want to be making sure am I using the right bidding strategy for the right goal of that campaign? In terms of that next period, we want to, once you've implemented the bidding strategy at a campaign level, we're not making any drastic changes for those first 2 weeks to allow the learning period to go unhindered. And if we're still a bit nervous about kind of going full on to applying a smart bidding strategy, then we would recommend using the drafts and experiments. Finally, once that 2-week learning period has gone through, we would look for in weeks 3 to 4, that's when we're going to be reviewing the performance over the last 2 weeks. And then from there, that's when you can start making minor changes to the campaign, so then not to reset the learning period.
Brilliant. So hopefully this episode has given you a bit of an idea of how automated bidding will help you to work faster, work smarter, and to win more for your clients. Up next week in the 4A's series, we've got a best-in-class example for you. So running through all of the best practices we've been sharing with you over the last couple of weeks and giving you what that looks like in real life. So thanks so much for joining. It's been great to speak with you about automation, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, guys. Happy Bow Tie Wednesday. 3, 2, 1.